A duct tape dummy, or DTD, is a great tool if you're making a fursuit body and is required by almost every professional fursuit maker. If you have a friend that has gone through the process of making a DTD before, get their help. But if you don't have access to a local furry community, this is the best method I've found to make a duct tape dummy with a non-furry. First, gather your supplies. You'll want lots of duct tape, scissors, a permanent marker, a paint coverall, and paper towel. I like to use a paint coverall that is larger than my typical clothing size, as this gives me extra material to work with. I then start by taping my lower hand and the heel of my foot. This keeps the coverall in place and allows the maker of your suit to know where your wrist and ankle ends. It can be hard for a maker to verify that you've taped all the way to the end of your limbs, so extending the tape to the hand and foot assures them that you've taped all the way to the end. Your tape should be applied in an overlapping crisscross pattern. Notice how this layering isn't the most smooth or ideal. This is fine, we'll address it later. Next, tape the groin area. Since your arms are still free at this point, you can do most of this work yourself if you're uncomfortable with your assistant touching you in this area. You want to give yourself a wedgie. If your duct tape dummy is not close to your body in this area, your finished fursuit can end up with a saggy butt. Next, I cut the coverall in the armpit area so the torso can be tailored to my body. If you run out of material to tape, use your paper towel. Never tape directly to your skin. When taping the torso, I suggest avoiding the zipper. Having a zipper that can be used while stuffing your dummy makes it much easier. Now we tape the torso and limbs. Your posing will vary depending on your requirements or the requirements of your maker. I prefer my duct tape dummy to be in a somewhat relaxed T pose or an A pose, with legs shoulder width apart. Because this can be an exhausting pose to hold, I avoid assuming it until the very end of the process. This is why I leave my elbows, shoulders, and knees untaped until the very end. I like to tape up the neck for the same reason I like to tape over my heel. The neck of a bodysuit will stretch out over time, so you don't want your bodysuit to start with a neck opening that is already too large. Again, do not tape directly to your skin. The tape should always be attached to the coverall or paper towel. And while you want the fit to be snug, at no point should you find the duct tape dummy restricting. Notice how I am able to move around during this entire process. While I can't sit down or bend over, the duct tape dummy is not cutting off my circulation. When you are done covering your entire body in tape, have your assistant draw a line up your leg and arm, and onto that line, have them draw large X shapes or hash marks. Do not skip this step. Medical scissors are often recommended for cutting the duct tape dummy from the body, but I've always used regular scissors. If you don't have medical shears, the trick is to slide 2 fingers into the dummy and cut between them. The fingers will pull the dummy away from the body so you don't get snipped. Go slow. And we're not done. Retape the dummy and stuff it tight. Duct tape dummies are not the most flattering, but in order for them to work, they need to be stuffed incredibly tight. This is the essential step that makes this method different from others. Add more layers of tape now that your duct tape dummy is off of your body. Most duct tape dummy tutorials instruct you to layer 3 or 4 pieces of tape while the dummy is still on your body. But your assistant probably doesn't know how important this duct tape dummy is or how to get the proper weave pattern. But you do. Once you stuff the dummy, add these new layers of tape right away. Because the first layer is not the highest quality, the tape will slide and distort the shape of your dummy if you leave it stuffed without this additional layer. Do not wait. Stuff it, then tape it. When adding these additional layers of tape, make sure all the empty patches are covered, smooth your lumpy and bumpy sections, and make sure the tape is layered in that crisscross weave that will ensure your dummy is durable. Once completed, you can unstuff your duct tape dummy for later use, or so that you can mail it to your maker. If constructed correctly, a duct tape dummy can be folded into a small box without any damage to the dummy. Are you making your own fursuit? This final part of the video is for you. If you understuffed the middle of your duct tape dummy, instead of unstuffing it so that you can get to that middle section, I often just cut straight through the dummy. Once you stuff the area so it's tight, just tape over that cut. Tape your zipper. Because of how tightly we stuff the dummies, the tape can pull away from the zipper over time. Once you've used the zipper to stuff the dummy, you don't need it anymore, so it can be taped over to protect the integrity of the dummy. And that's it. Stick around for my series on fursuit bodysuit construction, and feel free to leave questions in the comments below.